Welcome folks, this is Wear and Tear, yet another outdoor and gear review channel. Today I want to show you the Cold Steel Spartan. That's a behemoth of a knife, a big, beautiful blade. If you never have heard of the Cold Steel Spartan, you're probably not a whole lot into knives. And this knife looks ridiculous to you, like a fantasy knife that you get at a county fair or something like that. But that's not true at all. This knife is built to a very high standard of quality. Cold Steel really takes pride in the product. It's fully functional. It is rock solid. It has the triad lock. It has good materials. It has Austria A steel. It has a hollow grind. It comes very sharp out of the box. There is nothing cheap about these knives. Although it comes at a pretty fair price point, like $100 in the US, you can probably get it for $60 or $70. In Austria it's more like 110 euros, so it's way more expensive. Now this knife comes a little bit across like a combat knife. I understand that. Bit intimidating. It's not probably a knife for the public sphere, but out here in the woods the deer don't mind. They know I can't catch them even with this knife. So we want to see whether this is actually a reasonable knife in a bushcraft role, because it is big, it is beefy, and sometimes you just want to carry a folder and not a fixed blade knife. The question is the Cold Steel Spartan any good? Of course, someone who is into bushcraft knows, for example, there's a rounded off spine, so you can't really use it to start a fire with your fire starter, but it's not a primary role for my knives anyways. Bit of odd blade shape, this belly and this belly, I mean, it looks like a very potent cutter. It looks also like a very potent chopper with this type of handle, but no one really knows how it performs until he has tried it. And so we want to try to build a nice and simple campfire right now, sitting here on a high hill, 25 minutes outside the city of Linz. It has rained the last few days, but it's not easy. It's not hard to find dry wood, dead wood up here. This is not exactly a wilderness. It's not exactly a park or garden either. It's pretty secluded, beautiful area. So let's try to build a campfire with the Cold Steel Spartan. Now, batoning is something that you would never do with a folder, and some might argue not even with most fixed blades, but this is a Cold Steel Spartan. It's supposed to last. Okay, I'm admitting that this wood is ridiculously hard. And the Cold Steel is the most tanky knife, or this Spartan is the most tanky knife, but I already feel the handle going a little bit. This is a new triad lock, so it needs to work itself in a little bit, I guess. But I can already tell there is a little bit more play in the triad lock. Of course, this is an absolutely ridiculous task. You would not do that typically. Hey, the thumb plate came off. I'm gonna have to look for it later. Oh, there's the thumb plate. Thank goodness the screw is still there. Must say, it already had some Loctite on it, but the screw is just, I don't know, there's too much stress on the thumb plate if you hit it for batoning. Pretty obvious, but still good to know. Other than that, if you don't try it out on steel wood, on iron wood and super hard wood, it is a good batoning tool. So, after the batoning, let's try to do some shavings. The wood here is reasonably dry. Let's see what we can do. But that actually looks good. I understand that these are not perfect long shavings, but it's easy to make them. Okay, when it comes to making shavings, it's really nice that we can creep up like this on the blade, and I can exert the force in the correct spot. So this knife is really good at making shavings. That's a #1 bushcraft task when you want to prepare a campfire. Yeah, I like that. Something that also reasonably works is the reverse grip to create kindling. The ergonomics on that is good. It's actually quite comfortable. So it's the cold steel Spartan, perfect outdoor and bushcraft knife. Of course not. They got much better after it lost the thumb plate. The thumb plate is the most tactical element of this knife anyways, because it allows for the wave opening, so quick deployment of the blade. And a very quick deployment is only really something that you need under tactical circumstances. But for outdoor, it's better without the thumb plate. Kind of bit disappointed that it came loose so easily. Also, as you have seen, under extreme stress, very hard batoning. You also have a little bit of play on the triad lock. A little bit of play on the triad lock, I'm sorry. It's not a big deal. The triad lock is self-adjusting. That doesn't mean the knife is unstable or will give in. You just see it is ultimately just a folder, and it has its limitations, of course. But it is surprisingly good at creating feather sticks in either direction. It's surprisingly ergonomic to work with. It's of course a good chopper. So it definitely is a knife. If you're stuck with this knife outdoor, if you don't have an actual bushcraft knife, you can be happy. I mean, let's be honest, this knife is better than humans had 99.95% of humans' history, and they survived fine. Because the steel is awesome, OS 10A. The general mechanic and ergonomics is awesome. It's a great knife. Despite it looks a little bit fancy. And of course you have to adapt more to the ergonomics of the knife, because it has extraordinary ergonomics. It has extraordinary features, and if you have large hands, you're probably happier with the knife than if you have small hands. Although I wear large gloves. If your hands are too big, then you're probably bothered a lot by the pommel here in the back, which is great for chopping, I must admit. No, the Cold Steel Spartan is an excellent knife, an excellent hollow grind. It's a great blade. I like it. It's just cool. It's a knife I wish I would have had as a kid, but then I probably would have not made it into old age, because that knife would have gotten me into trouble, I'm sure. Cold Steel Spartan in Aus 10. What an awesome blade. Yeah, there are no problems with the edge after my abuse testing. There are no problems with the lock at all. It's still absolutely butter smooth. It lost its thumb plate, that's all. Kind of looks good like that. Okay, this was Wear and Tear. I hope you enjoyed my little review of the Cold Steel Spartan. If you like my video, that would be advantageous. Like and subscribe. Over and out.